I said it's going to be like one of the most controversial panel session in the sense that we are creatives, all of us, and there's this rascal out there stealing our works called AI. And yet, here we are debating, is it better than us? Can we admit that? Because I'm saying this because recently a writers award, the Commonwealth Writers Prize, was won by an AI written book, and I asked myself, let's assume the judges did not know that this book was written by AI, and they looked through all the selections and they chose the one written by AI. Are they trying to tell us that it's better? And if it's better, and I apologize in advance, I'm going to be playing the devil's advocate. So the creators and the writers in the room might leave here not liking my guts, but let me put it this way. If I go to a hospital, if I needed a surgery, and I go to a hospital and they're like, yeah, there's a human surgeon that could perform this surgery, and there's an AI surgeon, and this AI surgeon has proven to be way more effective than the human surgeon. But you can choose which one you want. And it's a life and death issue for me. Will I go, AI, bad AI, bad AI, I stick with the human surgeon? Or will I be like, if the AI surgeon does it better and gives me better chances of living, why don't I use it? Or, I mean, I have a criminal case, and these days they say AI passed the bar and did all that, and they're like, my lawyer is like, see, I can defend you with a certain level of success, but there's this AI legal machine or agent that could defend you, and it could do a better defense than myself, but it's your choice to choose who you want to defend you. And it's either I go to jail or I keep my freedom. Am I going to go, bad AI, no. You, human lawyer, defend me. If I lose, I lose. Or am I gonna go, if AI has been doing a better job, don't I want to use it? So I'm saying this to ask the question, if we're fighting AI, are we fighting it because, sorry, let me rephrase that. If AI is doing a better job as it's writing better stories, why are we fighting it? Don't we want better stories? And if AI is not writing better stories, if it's being crappy, then again, why are we fighting it? It's not a competition. Like, readers can always choose us and it will fiddle out. And this conversation is around why that is even a question. And it's about why do I just sound like I'm an idiot? I'm an idiot. So I'm gonna begin by having my panelists who are intense creators, world-renowned illustrator Tita, Berredo, award-winning writer, novelist Albrin Jr., and we're going to be asking the question to begin with. Tita.
All made by hand.
All made by hand, yeah. Yeah, Tita, what is storytelling? Let's begin with that.
Okay, can I actually go address what you stated before?
Yeah. Yes.
Right, so there are a couple of things that we need to reassess here. What is better? And better because of whom? Because AI does not create, and generative AI is an assembly of data that data was came from real human writers, human creators. So whatever your input, your prompt is in an AI, generative AI tool, it's gonna get from someone else. So if you are doing better stories, you are doing better stories from other people. So human still. To address your comparison with
the lawyer, the surgeon,
and the surgeon, exactly. I think it's a good one because I think right now we are being fed a lot of rhetorics that worked in the past, like trends move, or you're gonna be left behind, without adding critical thinking. And that is one of the problems with AI. AI takes out the critical thinking. Because if you put the critical thinking as, what am I being left behind from? It's a rocket going to a black hole. Yeah, I want to be left behind on that. And what is AI serving me as a creator? AI doesn't create. And the person who uses AI to create, as I said before, is not making creators lazy, it's making lazy people profitable on the back of creators. Because creators love to create. That's the part that we like doing. A lot of people want to be writers. A lot of people want to be artists. Only writers and artists don't want to be writers and artists. They want to write and do art. That's the main difference.
Yeah.
So going back to the surgeon, I think it's important to think that what is a tool, and in the hand of a surgeon, a knife could be beneficial. A surgeon who's gonna open my heart and do heart surgery on me has a knife. That's a benefit, and it's a neutral tool used by someone for good. But in that same tool in the hand of a burglar, it becomes something different. Now with AI, we are getting close to not even a tool, a neutral tool. We're talking now, starting to talk now about a knife with free will, a tool that can decide what to do next without you, and that's quite dangerous. But we are still a bit away from a general AI, which is what we see in Terminator. The movies like this, it's coming, but we're still a bit away from it. But going back to humanity and what is humanity and what is AI and the tool. The tool is mathematics, is algorithms, is a Boolean similes, logic, which is works on prompts of and, or, not, you know, and it's math in the end. It's an assembly. It doesn't feel, it doesn't want, it doesn't have morals, it doesn't care for anything, doesn't have interests, doesn't have experience, doesn't have empathy, doesn't have hope. So I'd say that in the hands of a surgeon, a surgeon who doesn't have a steady hand can use a robot to do the stitching in my heart. But I would 100% prefer to die in the hands of a surgeon who's still driving it. Because in AI and in robotics, big fan of it, Isaac Asimov, as I am as well, there is no place for hope, and mathematics doesn't open up to the 1% of life. And if you like The Pit, the HBO series, there's the new ER. You know that these people who work in ER, they are putting all their efforts in the 1% of saving a life. So 100%.
So you're saying it doesn't matter how good or precise AI is or can get, is if it's devoid of humanity, it's trash. Albrin, what does storytelling mean to you, and how naturally human is it, such that AI can, or a machine cannot even begin to touch it?
Okay, first let's start with storytelling. So when we say storytelling, we are basically talking about the ability to communicate ideas, experience, emotions in a narrative. So basically anything that has to do with narrative, this, that, and it connects. It can connect emotions, it can connect people. That's storytelling. Now, if AI can tell a story, like you gave the example of the surgeon and the lawyer, if AI can tell a story, then I think I would prefer AI to defend me. But AI can't. Now, if you've watched a lot of law movies or read a lot of law books, you'll see that there's always an opening argument and closing argument. Now, those arguments are based on storytelling, because there's a jury. You have to convince them. Now, you have phones, Gemini, AI. So now, when you speak to them, what's one? Alexa, play me. Blah, blah. Alexa will say, "Are you talking about blah, blah?" That kind of person can't convince a jury. But when the lawyer stands, he starts to tell a story, not just about the case. He builds the case. He talks about this person, how this person came about, what this person did, and then he's telling you his story. He talks about the family, the friends, and then he comes to the case. What is the lawyer doing? He's telling a narrative about that person, trying to convince the jury. So if AI cannot move emotions, then sorry, AI can't tell stories. And I have this perception of storytelling apart from the general narrative. Storytelling, for me personally, is the ability to tell a good lie. It's as simple as that. Or let me put it this way, to tell a lie and make it beautiful. When I was young, I watched this movie. I think it was titled True Lie. It was by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now it was a ballroom. He wanted to get something from, I think, the Oval Office or so. He couldn't. They caught up with him. Now he was trying to fight his way out. He held the gun, but the gun fell. Now it was a staircase. He was up. The bad guys were down. Now this gun was falling, but it was shooting. And everybody was dying. They were all dying. Now I was young, but I looked at like, damn. Now that was it. We all know that's not possible, but we enjoyed it because it told a lie in a beautiful way. So for me, that is storytelling. So long I can catch your emotions, I can make you believe something. And it's a process. AI is basically, is like what you say in computer, garbage in, garbage out. And like you said, people write the prompts in AI. Generative AI is basically what they use in arts. So it's like they take all Shakespeare's work, all Victoria Woolf's work and Emmy work, they put it in. So basically the AI has now mastered those people's work. And so I can come and say, okay, I want to write this book. Give it to me in a Shakespearean style. What it does, what the generative AI does, it goes back to the data, picks it up and gives me a story without style. So basically, in a way, that's like plagiarism. Because the AI is not intelligent enough to give me a story. It just picked up from different stories, constructed it, and then sent it to me.
So storytelling is beyond. It's so sentimental, human connection, human stories that you can't make a machine do it. Now, I want to ask you, Tita, what worries you the most in the whole? Let's leave out the my lawyer narrative and medicine. Let's come down to art and literature and creativity. What worries you the most in the AI trend?
Well, two things. Copyright infringement, which is what a human would do to plagiarize another human. If they were caught, they would be sued. Now a human can use AI to plagiarize another human and get away because it's AI. Oh, it's not real, it's not, And so for me, too many things as a creator is, it's not that I'm gonna be replaced because of technology. I work traditionally with watercolors and ink. And when digitization came with the tablets and Procreate, we heard the same things, and embrace it, oh, it's a new thing, nobody's gonna want to, and it just created a ramification of the market, because the digitization, you still have to draw. So it becomes like a new tool, like a crayon is different from oils, pastel oils, or, well, they're very similar, but like ink is different from oils.
Yeah.
But now with AI, is the opposite. It's not a tool that is serving creators, is really draining from them, and not only to compete with them in an already competitive industry, but can replace them with versions of themselves. So the way that I make myself apart from the rest of the world is being authentic. But what if there's a clone of me? I don't have control of it. I can't profit on it. It was fed on my work. I can't profit on it. I can't sue it, and I'm out of the work because somebody can just put on AI, style up Tita Berredo, and that's it. I can't do anything.
Yeah, so the intellectual property theft, the copyright infringement, that is your biggest worry about AI.
Yeah.
And what about you, Albrin?
To be very honest, I'm not scared. Probably in the future I may, but for now, I'm not. So the thing is, I'll take it back a bit, because I used to teach literature at some point back then. So I'll always tell you that everybody's a writer. I write, you write, they write, we write. But the difference is, we have figures of speech.
Yeah.
Is it figures of speech? Simile metaphor, yeah, figures of speech.
Yeah.
So the difference is, I apply certain figures of speech and I apply them in a certain way.
Yeah.
We can both write the same topic about, for example, let's write about this building.
Yeah.
The same building, the same time, we start the same time, stop the same time, but we write different things,
stories, yeah.
because we are looking at it from different perspectives, and we have learned our writing skills from in different ways. So the way we interpret and the way we write is so different. Now, if you bring that to AI, I don't even think I should argue this, because AI is not even intelligent enough. It has to get data from what it has gotten in. So, and for me, it's all about identity. Like, okay, I'll use this example. While I was in school, people used to. Funny enough, I didn't start using AI until last year. So like 2-3 years ago, while I was in school, when people use AI, so we have this thing, Turing. When you have to submit an assignment, you have to check the AI plagiarism thing. I never checked. Like once, like when people say no, you have to check. I was never scared. Like when I'm done, and I don't even submit like weeks before. I'm done weeks before, but I wait till like 2-3 days before I submit. Now when I submit, there's this pride in me, like I put it in because it has to go through the Turing. I put it in, and then it comes up 1%, 2%. I have this smile on me, like
I know.
you just can't, So for me, it has always been like that, and even recently, because I've been seeing this trend, people have their work, and then they put it through AI, and they come online to say, oh, this person wrote with AI, especially if you use a lot of M dash, and so I write poetry. I've been using M dash for a long time.
Yeah, so the poor Proust.
So I'm not even scared one bit or anything. And for me, the key thing is identity. Identity and authenticity. I know myself.
Yeah.
I know what I can do. You can put me with AI. Let's train AI on my work. Yeah. And let AI write the same story that I'm going to write.
You will still write it.
You would see, like, I am the.
I think I understand, and I very much understand what you're saying, because when this whole great madness about AI began, I used to ask myself, so you mean a machine can just start a story and tell a story, and then when they're done, you can sit it against. I'm not even talking sit it against the works of the greats, even my own, as humble a writer I say, you can sit it against my work and you can tell me that yeah, I did a better job. I'm like, nah, don't tell me that. Now, when it comes to concerns about AI, I used to, in the beginning, I used to fear that, these days, nearly anybody can just come up with a book and be like, oh, I wrote a book. They just put any prompt into AI and come up with a book and be like, I am an author. I wrote a book, and now and I used to be like, this is watering down the hearts that I've always loved. It's, yeah, I'm happy for them. But it's making a mess of. I've always loved writing and creating. So I was like, now look at all this crowd of people are coming up and be like, oh yes, my own book, and they just slap the name on it and something AI. But and it used to worry me. And then recently I started asking myself, wait, a lot of those people who go out and use AI to create a book and publish and now call themselves authors, a lot of them did it because they thought they were about to become millionaires. They thought they were making a lot of money as writers. Just give it some years. They're gonna find out what we already know a long time ago. That nobody makes money from this.
I think to add to Albrin's, what doesn't scare me and which links to what you're saying is that a lot of people want to use AI to sell, but not a lot of people want to buy AI stuff. And for me, there's a very, very simple comparison, which is why does Rolex still sells Rolex? There's a huge industry of fake Rolexes, and there are a lot of people buying it. But there are people who want the true thing, and they can't tell what's the true thing. It's the same thing about people who. Why do people go across countries to stand in line forever to enter the Louvre and see the Mona Lisa, when you can just Google it and see or get a postcard? You know, it's because people want the connection. People want the connection with the behind the scenes, the person behind the creation. Because if creation can come from anything, why should we care? Who is the person creating? You know, and that goes back to storytelling. Storytelling is native to human beings because our main fear since birth is of being alone, of not being loved or seen or heard. And for that, we need connection with someone else. So to me, AI is gonna become, there are much wider problems that concern me, but one thing that relieves me is the thought that it's going to be a ramification of the industry of fakeness that a lot of people will buy. But all the people who buy these fakeness, they are not the people who I'm trying to connect with. They're not looking for connection, you know?
Yeah, so I on one other side of the conversation of using AI to create, especially writing, is you hear people say, well, I did not write the book with AI, but I used AI to edit it. I asked AI to modify it or do whatever I like to improve it and stuff. And I used to wonder, because it seems like that is somehow permissible. Like you can say, yeah, they didn't write it with AI, they just used AI to, polish it up and stuff. And it seems like there cannot be a clear, sharp line between using AI to write the book and using AI to polish it after you've written it. Because if we permit one, it's only a matter of time before we start shifting the goalposts. Like, okay, now they actually wrote the draft and AI now wrote the final one. Yeah, and then if we permit that one, it would be like, okay, they actually wrote the outline. They just sketched the outline. They did the outline themselves, and then to get to the point of, oh, it's my story idea. Okay, I wrote it and we saw. So, but even in that sense, when we say we've written a book, we've finished writing it, and we just used AI to polish it. Yeah, in that sense in itself, does AI even does AI improves storytelling, or it just gives you other garbages?
Okay, so I'll come at it from two angles. There's the arts to storytelling, and there's the acts of storytelling.
Yeah.
So the arts, that is the ART, the art of storytelling is a process.
Mm-hmm.
Now, audience has a perspective of books or films or comic or whatever, and then the writer or the creator has a perspective. For the audience, they see a story and they love it. But for the creator, he doesn't just love the story, he loves the story behind the story.
Yeah.
So for example, I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth, on my way to work, I almost get hit by a car. Now, while I'm walking, I'm reflecting, damn, I almost died. Wow. And I'm thinking, I should write a story about this. And probably the title comes to my head, I saw deaths. It doesn't sound cool. I looked at the face of deaths, you know, and you give this a cool title. And then along the way, probably something happened, you have this friend or you have this girl, you know, and the story just begins to form. But at the end of the day, for you, the most interesting thing is that the experience you had brought about that story. So it was a process. This happened, that happened, and then the story came about.
Yeah.
Now, when you are done with that, the acts. So the thing is, AI is here.
Yeah.
It can go. That's it. You just have to admit that AI is here. So just like you said, there's this thing about having to edit through AI and all that. It's hard to say because, and like you said, once you start with one, but then the art of storytelling can change because that is a process. It's a human thing because it has emotions, hope, fear, joy, sadness, and so on. But then the act, which has to do with the technical aspects, like in terms of grammar, story structure, and in a way, I feel that because if you look at the writers of old, the
Hemingway and all that.
they didn't use AI.
Yeah.
They wrote what they wrote, and then they edited it on their own, and then they took it to editors who did that for them. So it was a process, it was still a human process. Now, if AI is doing this for us, I mean, it is already doing it. But if AI is going to be doing this for us, then it's to get to a point whereby works will no longer have value. And I have this feeling that it will get to a point, generally, there will be restrictions to AI. Because it's just like, no matter how the thing is, once there's a fake, it gets to a time whereby they tend to put restrictions on it. I believe with creativity, there will be a restriction on AIs. So yes, there's the act of AI which involves the technical aspect, correcting grammar, structure, and analysis, but then we can't change that, but that is yet to stay. But there's a difference between the arts of storytelling and the acts. The act is when the AI comes in, the aftermath of the arts, and then tries to correct it. I had an editor once, and she went through my book, and because she was going to do this deep structure edits, and then she sent in the corrections. Okay, and so when I went through the correction, the first thing I saw was, now it has a plot line, I can't even go deep into it, but she was like, there's something about the plots I should change. The moment I saw it, I knew it was AI. So what she had done, because eventually I found out, what she had done was, she took the book through AI and just gave AI a prompt, like find whatever fault and you know. And AI, not being human, just said, this is this. And the moment I saw it, I laughed. And there were some things that were right, there were some things that were wrong. I sent her a message, I was like, okay, I get what you're trying to say and I understand, but you should look at it from this angle. And I was very blunt. I'm not sure you read it to the end. Because if you had read it, you would have realized that this plot at the beginning has an impact at the end. And you would have seen the connecting line. And she was like, oh, she forgot that. But my mom was like, because even the corrections, some of them were AI. Like, when I was a teacher, if I give an assignment and you give me an answer from a textbook, I would know. No matter how you restructure that answer. Because I'm your teacher. I know your level of intelligence. So once I see something, I'm like, this from the textbook. So once I see something AI, I'm like, this is definitely AI.
Human beings.
Actually, I addressed something. I think Albrin saying something really, really true because and as art, as in the act, and as art, right? And that the art that isn't innate to human beings, and that it will never reach robotics or mathematics, as it transcends that, is really the urge to imbue something of meaning we all as writers, artists, we have that urge, you know, so much that sometimes we make things that we discard.
Yeah.
You know, and what is better in that sense as well? Is it faster? Because yeah, AI can write a book faster than me, but there's a reason why a picture book will take a year or more, or other books will take longer. And sometimes you try to publish and then leave it, and then go back to it and improve it. You know, the art of failing.
Yeah.
We embrace it because we learn from it. We overcome, and that is to me better.
That's the beauty of it anyway. In a panel session in the morning when I was talking about a book my very first book I wrote about so many years ago, about 16 years ago. I was made to revisit it to make for it to be republished. The publisher reached out and asked if I can we do it so they can publish as a second edition. And do I know it's a kind of a money grab put there from their hand, because when I wrote it, I was just this name that nobody never. It's my first book anyway, and now they feel like now we're Anyasi, we can republish it, and you seem to have an audience, so let's. But I sat back with the manuscript and I looked at it. I couldn't even go past the first page because it felt like this is rubbish. Did I really write this? Like, how did I write this? How did any human even bought this book and not call me out? But that is the beauty of being a writer. I mean, to see the stages you come through, to see that something you wrote just last year could look so awkward to you today. And for me as a writer, it's for me that is like it's the humanity in being a creative. It's what makes it's like showing you your journey. It's like a journey. Sometimes when I look through all the books I've written, the book covers, and like I else Google my name. Sometimes I do that. I'm vain like that. I just Google whenever I'm looking at some titles, and I'm like, wow, I wrote that. Wow, I wrote that. And you see, it's for me. It's like looking at all my journey. Where I've been coming all the way, all the years, and I do not think it would give the same emotion if I look at them and I used AI to write them. Like I look at this one and be like, AI. They won't feel like my work. They won't feel like me.
Yeah,
Exactly. And it doesn't matter how well the book will go on to become. I won't feel a connection to it because it's not my story.
Do you, people here, you are creators as well, I'm assuming, writers, and Does anybody hear about imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Did anybody here felt that they weren't enough in their creation? There's a big difference between a person who uses AI and says, I am an artist, look, and defends, like a person who does not have imposter syndrome, who thinks they're not only enough, but they're greater, even better than artists, that they're so not artists and that's so not humane, you know? So, and I think, just to address something that you said, I think it's important for us to separate artificial intelligence from generative AI, because what we are calling now and what we are seeing now more and more is Gen AI. But AI, as the old Spielberg, it's in our lives since the abacus time. You know, Aristotle envisioned AI 2,300 years ago. And what you had still 10, 20 years ago with not only social media but the internet or the fax, the phone, you know, and this is artificial intelligence assembled, and your autocorrector in Word is artificial intelligence. Our issue here is with generative AI, because using generative AI, is not ethical. That's it. It was fed without the consent of authors, writers, illustrators.
Yeah.
And the whole, oh, embrace it, it's here, you better just get it, you know, to me, as the woman in the panel, it feels so, this rhetoric feels, sounds so much like victim blaming and rape. It's like, well, you want to put yourself out there, I have to put my work out there for people to buy, for people to hire me. But once it's on my Instagram, once is in my email, once is on Kindle, oh, AI will scrape it.
Yeah.
So you put yourself out there. So yeah, you know, and then saying that it's here to stay and it's making things better. And these are things that we are being fed by the big techs who are profiting. Because anyone who loves to create AI, generative AI, has no use.
Yeah.
You know, I want AI to do my taxes for me so I can have time to write and illustrate, not the other way around.
Yeah, but don't you think if the accountant has lost the job too from there? If AI is doing your taxes,
Oh, they deserve that. No, and that's another thing. But how about the accountant who can use ethically towards his advantage, and I still can have an accountant to talk about? Because I know nothing about taxes, and I love having a person who can speak to me in English and explain to me what they are going to do with those numbers. So that's also another discussion.
That's another discussion in its own.
But yeah, it's true. It's taking jobs, and it's not replacing with new jobs.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's a part of the conversation we're not having, which everybody sort of knows, but when in the conversation about AI and creating generative AI, we don't seem to talk about it enough, is the fact that it can be awfully wrong. I have this habit of not trusting anything AI tells me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen it be very, very wrong a lot of times. And for instance, there was a project I was working on. I was on the team with some other guys, and we started putting the publicizing it, putting the advert out there. And one day it just occurred to me to ask AI about it. So I was like, tell me what you know about this project. And he went on talking very glossy paragraphs about the project, how it's such a making things up that was very true. And I was like, who told you that? I created this project, and this what it was even telling me things that were not on the website. We've never said to anyone, so I can't say maybe it's scripted from different. He just made up stuff about this project, and I'm like, wow. So anytime I ask you about things I don't know, there is a big chance you just lied to me.
Yes. To make you happy, to make you stay
From
there.
that moment on, I never trusted anything here. I'll just be like, no, I'll find my real sources. So it's because of time, we're going to get into audience questions. So if there is any question from the audience, let's.
Okay, I have two questions. First, as writers, why do you write? Is it to just write for the fun or to make profit out of it as well?
Are you a writer?
Yes. That's
Yes.
what
So your question, you're asking us personally, why do we write? Okay.
Do you write to profit or just write for the fun?
If I wanted to profit, I would go to OnlyFans. Hand God.
So you don't intend to profit from what you're writing?
I love that I can make that if I can feed myself, shelter myself, clothe myself with the money that I make from my passion. But I worked before with marketing, with other things that I didn't enjoy, so I could sustain my passion. And if the world ends, AI takes over, I'll keep writing and illustrating in my little journal, because that's what I always did since I was a child, and until today is the thing that makes me happy and want to keep living.
What about you?
Okay. Brief answer. I write because I can. But then again, how will I say this now? When you start out, you are not writing for money, because then you don't have an audience. And I think, like Uzomaka was saying, when you cut an onion, that small circle within, and then you spread. So at that point, you don't have an audience. Nobody will buy a book. So you are writing because you can and because you want to, from the passion. But then you get to a certain level where people now believe in your writing. You know, people now want to, oh, I saw something you wrote, I want to read it. And then you begin to realize, okay, I think it's time. I can gather people. At least you know that even if it's just 10 copies, you have 10 people to buy a book. And if 10 people buy a book, it's because they believe in you. Not just because you wrote a book, because they believe, oh, I've seen something she wrote, or the way she speaks like she would, like she writes. And so now they want to be a part of it. Now those 10 people will tell 5 other persons, and you know, it keeps going. By then you are building a community and audience. At that point in time, you can now say, okay, yes, I want to make money, and then you start to strategize. And
yeah. I think, before you ask the second question, let me add to that. I've been writing for nearly 2 decades. I've been publishing for over 10 years. I've published over like 100 different authors, and I can tell you that the first sign, I'm speaking from a publisher's point of view, the first sign of an author you should not publish is the author that thinks they're about to make him a lot of money from the book. It doesn't matter how good your story is. There was a time several years ago, when I was running Afterlife Books in Lagos, I had this person approach me, and she was like, I saw the email, and she was like, I met her at an event, and she emailed me. She took my card and emailed me about a book, and she was like, this book is gonna be so amazing. If people want to read it, it's gonna make a lot of money, and I'm gonna make a lot of sales. And she was pitching the sales to me, and I'm like, there you go. I'm not touching it. I just politely told her that unfortunately, this is not what we're looking for. I wish you the best of luck on the next. And because publishing back in Lagos, in Nigeria, publishing is it's a small community. We all know each other. A few weeks later, another publisher called me. I was like, hey, I saw somebody like this emailed me. I was like, I know the person. I said, she laughed. I'm like, oh, she wants to make money from her. And now the question is, it's good to make money from writing, right? It's a good thing. Writers wish, they aim to eventually get there. But the truth is, when you are entering, it should not be the first thing on your mind, because the truth is, there is a statistics that there is less than 0.1% of writers all over the world. Less than 0.1% of them make enough money from their writing to even sustain their life. Like if you put everybody in the world who have written a book, ask them, do you earn enough to live, to even sustain a decent life, not to make, even sustain, pay your bills? No.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's think.
So the reason why I asked the question was I was trying to tie it to the former panel of using your monetizing your knowledge, monetizing your passion. For you, it's a passion. Writing is a passion. Anything creative, whether you're singing, writing, an artist, whatever you are, anything under the creative, it's a passion that you do. You're not doing it for the money, but people are monetizing it. Now, tied to the AI thing, I know of a particular book. It's an e-book. Someone is selling it, and on a monthly basis, he actually wrote it with AI. It's not an author, but he wrote it with AI, and on a monthly basis, he just sends it as PDF, you know what I mean, on Kindle to people to read, and he's making a minimum of 10 to 12,000 pounds monthly. He's profiting over it, what he did not write. So that's why I asked, do people write to make money, or do people just write because of passion?
That kind of people writes make money.
Because he didn't write
doesn't
the book,
have a
but the
passion.
AI is selling that.
He doesn't have a passion.
It's just
It's just making profit.
He doesn't have a passion, and it won't last. It would get to a point whereby it will all fade out. It's and the thing about life in general, not just creative, and the thing about life in general, if you take a shortcut to things, or if you do something, you try to get somewhere fast, you will get there, but you will fall faster, and then you won't be able to sustain it, and you can't rise because you never, the way you rose initially was not in the right way, so you find it difficult. And that's why if you ask a lot of great people, they'll tell you slow and steady win the race. You have to do the work so that when you are there and anything happens, you can always fall back and strategize. But once it's all about, you make money. It's
So this same person is mocking me, telling me you're writing.
they won't.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the person without the imposter syndrome.
I've had people tell me.
Yeah. Then you
like,
laugh back at him because your interest is not the same as his.
he's doing his thing, that's fine. You do your thing, that's fine. You get, for example, look at someone like Chimamanda. When she started, her Facebook didn't make money.
Yeah.
It didn't
It's
make
like,
money.
haha, I like giraffes, and
No,
I like
she just wanted to be
dinosaurs.
seen, to be heard and to be known.
Yeah.
But when she did her second book, that made money, and then her first book started making money. This guy who wrote Da Vinci, Dan Brown,
Yeah.
he wrote his first book, and he didn't even say, he said he didn't sell more than 10 copies, and he wanted to quit writing, but his agent was like, no, don't, you can do this. And then he wrote his second book, I think that was Angels and Demons, and then in a matter of months, he sold millions.
How did T.D. Jakes sold the first book, and his first book went off?
He already had an audience.
Yeah, I was going to get there because there is a difference between a writer, a storyteller who by nature they are storytellers and they just want to tell their stories, and someone who wrote a book because they have people to sell it to.
It's what happened
Yeah,
with
so-
ghostwriting
Yeah.
before AI.
Yeah. So there is a book as a result of a creator, and there is a book as a product, nothing else. The book is just it's a pure product. So someone looks at themselves and be like, yeah, like the guy you said he's making all that money from selling AI book. He has an audience, that's why he's doing it. He has an audience and he asks himself, what do I sell to this audience?
The same
it's
as
not-
celebrity books.
Yeah, it's naturally not a writer. He doesn't care about writing, but he has an audience. Now, I used to tell this funny story, my experience as a publisher back in Lagos, in Lagos. I can tell you that till today, he still has that record. The best-selling book Naftali Book ever published is a book that I and a group of other publishers laughed at and genuinely think is crap. But here's what happened. The guy went to first publisher. The publisher was like, "Oh, don't publish things like that. We don't like it." The guy went to the next publisher. The publisher was like, "No, we don't do that. We don't like the book." He went around and he came to me and he actually told me the truth. I've done all that place and he rejected it. And I looked at it and I was like, "I don't publish this either." And he was like, he told me, he said, "Ray, just publish it. I know where to sell this book." And to God, I was broke at that period. And I was like, "You know where to sell this book, so you can sell it." I was like, "Yeah, I will sell this book." I was like, "Okay, you can sell it, fine. I need money, I'll publish it. And you will sell it. Promise me, you swear to me, you'll sell it." It was like, I just want it to be available for purchase. And I was like, what sorcery is this? I'll publish it. And I published the book and made it available, printed the first batch. And this guy happens to be someone who is well connected in the university system, so in campuses. So this guy was like, "Get me 2,000 copies." I'm like, "Nope, no, I'm not doing that with you." He's like, "Raymond, I assure you, print 2,000 copies in the first one." I was like, "Okay, here it is." And the guy went out and by himself carried 2,000 copies in his car, went to a campus, came back needing more copies. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" Now, here's what I did, because the book is really, really rubbish. I keep saying it's rubbish. When it's none the wiser for it, because he doesn't know how these book things work. But on the book cover, nowhere was it mentioned Naftali book, because I don't want anybody reading this and be like, "Naftali published this rubbish." So I told my team, "Yeah, publish it, but take out our logo from the book on the copyright page. Just right, use it in small text because we can't afford not to put our name on it. So just reduce the font on the copyright page, take out our logo from the cover when you print. And so he was going out selling thousands of copies every week. And we made a lot of money. And the first person that saw it, we were like, we had a WhatsApp group of publishers in Nigeria. So someone put the picture and said, who published this book? And I was quiet for a long time because my logo is not there. And then someone opened the copyright page and said, Ray, you did this. And I was like, yeah, I did it. I confess, I agree with you, it's crap, it's making money. And I need the money. Yeah, and what I'm trying to say is that this guy didn't care about the writing. He probably, if you read the book, you would weep. You would weep. But somehow he's convincing people to buy it. And he kept selling it and kept coming back, thousands and thousands. And at the end of the year, we sold over 20,000 copies. And he was getting rich, and I was getting rich, and I was loving it. But I kept telling myself, what's the idea? Now, as a publisher, I'm a business person. Yeah, I want to make money. That's why I publish. And then people are attacking me like, you are publishing this rubbish, it's so, and I'm like, my defense was, maybe not such a big, solid defense, but my defense was, there are people who write because they are writers, they just want to write. And when you see their work, you know this person is a writer. I keep saying the first person I published, in a book, it's a book. I told the author that this book will not sell. If it sells 2 copies, it's because you forced them to buy it. It's a beautiful work of art, but it's artistic writing, and it's not a popular writing. But I told him I'll publish it because I want to be old and grey and say, I published this as an artist and as a publisher. But I know it doesn't sell. Right, so I do that kind of publishing. But when I see the guy who's written just because he has tens of thousands of people waiting to buy it, and he didn't even care to make it a good book. Because I asked him at some point, why didn't you even look for someone to help you polish it a bit? And he was like, it has to be published the way I wrote it. And he was adamant about it. He loved the way he wrote it. Like, that's how I want it to be written. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, I need the money, I'll publish it, and we're gonna make money together. So what I'm trying to say is that some people write because they are writers and they are passionate about it, and the money is not at the front of their head. Yeah, if it eventually makes money, it's beautiful for them. And some people write because the book is a product to be sold to their audience.
Do you feel better about the stupid person who said that thing to you? Yeah.
So I'll give you a live example. I have a book from Glasgow with our law, collection of 10 stories set in Glasgow, Nigeria. Now, I slept at the bus station when I first came to Glasgow that night. I didn't sleep actually because it was so cold and I didn't have a winter jacket. I could not sit because the chair was so cold, so I stood. But that experience, from while I kept on looking at the winter statue. It was fascinating to me. While staring at it, I just told myself, this night will not waste. I'm going to use this experience and write. That was the first thing that came to my head, right? I was already having an audience, but not to make money, I had written that story and written different stories, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? And eventually, the idea started coming, I can do this, I can do that. And I've sold. And I've enjoyed this, I'm like, oh, okay. Because in my head, I was like, why are people buying this book? But the point is, I had already gotten an audience then. But the first thing to me was a story that people will connect, and I'm even developing it to a TV series now. It didn't start as a TV series then. It started as a story, just a book. But now it is developed. So it has to, you need to love the craft, you need to love the arts, and then every other thing will fall in place.
Awesome. Do you have a question?
Yeah, not a question.
Okay. Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so I was at the London Tech Week earlier this week, just on Monday. And then being here is like 2 different worlds. What I saw there and what I'm seeing here is just, there was completely AI, we're all pro AI. And being here, a different story.
Yeah, it's
Because
a
it's
fight.
tech world.
Yeah, so,
How do you feel about it?
I don't know. There, that was where the money was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I think there was a generation that was fascinated by paper dictionaries.
Yeah.
Another was fascinated by Google, and here we are fascinated by AI.
Yeah.
In the future, there will be something
Yeah,
else
there's
to
always
also
something.
Yeah.
discuss.
It's always gonna be
Yeah,
something.
so definitely I'm not an advocate of writers depending on AI in terms of storytelling and creating your own story. But then trying to find the balance with AI and technology in terms of distribution, marketing, making yourself known. I think there should be a balance somewhere that
Yeah. If you want to advocate for using AI for marketing, I believe authors might jump on that. Publishers might love it.
I
To
think
use AI to market your book.
I think the previous panel kind of balances that. When Matia said, "Oh, go for an AI course," I was like, "Oh my God!" I felt sick to my stomach. I was like, "Will I have to challenge her?" And then she kind of saved herself in the end, saying that, but I would never use someone else's image. And so there's a way for you to be ethical. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's like making choices in life. Or are you gonna be a vegan? Are you gonna support something that is like a business that you know that is kind of profiting on exploitation of people? You know, it's kind of like that. It's difficult because a lot of people do it. It's okay, nobody's gonna know. But you know, and you said that the money was there in London, right?
very much.
I'm sure that there were like hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
Look at this room. We couldn't fill the
Yeah.
chairs. But everyone who's here is here for the same reason, and it's not money.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Do you have anything to say?
Yeah, actually, it's just like a contribution to creation.
Yeah.
And a very logical example is the beginning, when God created, He created everything that was today.
Yeah.
And if it was AI,
AI created
I love where
the
this is
world.
going. I love where it's going.
so, and he enjoyed the process of
Yeah,
creation.
yeah.
And now we can say it.
Yeah.
Very funny example with AI. If, snake, apple. This is beautiful. Try it. Now what do we have?
Apple.
So I think I respect AI.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still at least try and use it in ChatGPT and all that. But I still enjoy the process of creating.
Yeah.
Than just help me create. I think creation is still more than AI. I agree with you.
Interesting. Okay, we are running out of time, but let's take this one last one.
Something that I want to say that AI is just a tool in the hands of human.
Yeah.
Without AI, without human, AI
There is no AI, exactly.
We are the one that's inputting the knowledge inside AI. Most of the paid jobs now is that they are just prompting AI,
Yeah.
putting knowledge
Knowledge
into
in it.
AI, so that when you put in the question you're looking for, you can be able to get answers. So we shouldn't be afraid of AI.
Yeah, on a
Because
positive note.
we are the one behind the machine.
Exactly. On a positive note, everyone who's creating is going to continue
Yeah.
creating.
I'm just wondering what your opinions are on the environmental impacts of our generative AI, because it's doing terrible things to water people,
Yep.
people's water quality and noise pollution, and also just the amount
That's-
of resources that you need to build these data
Yeah.
centers.
Oh yeah, we were so
another-
concentrated in humans, we forgot about the planet, right?
Yeah. and that too is another solid argument not many people talk about the environmental impact of it. Well, this session is about the storytelling aspects of AI, which I believe at the same time is somehow ties into the environment in a way, but no, but we don't talk about it much enough. Yeah. You wanted to say something.
Just a contribution. For me, when I go somewhere and I see you using AI, it just kind of make me lose confidence in whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I've been to the hospital before. I was telling the doctor what was wrong, and it was typing.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we should try this. I'm like, I'm not something you should use for a practical. You think I should try this? I'm like, no, I'm not going to try that. And it's like, okay, should we try this? You're not even sure.
Yeah, why you?
Where I've worked in the hospital for 7 years. I've been with doctors. I've never seen any doctor ask my doctor that I've worked with.
AI what to do.
Ask AI what to do. Once you tell them what is wrong with you,
And the day you
they
do,
give
you
the-
walk away.
I think it's a problem because right now there's a lot of dependence on AI.
Yeah.
People no longer want to think. People no longer want to
Yep.
do things on their own. Every little thing they just go to AI. AI.
People have it. I hear of someone, a content creator, because I do content.
Yeah.
A content creator was talking about Cloudy, and she was like, "Oh, it's a personal partner, personal P. Oh, Cloudy, could you reply this email for me? Oh, Cloudy, I'm like, you don't do anything, even
Yeah.
text message, emails, anything. Cloudy.
Claude, would you marry me?
All right, thank you very much, everyone. Tita, you've been wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great, and thank you, Berredo.